Hello, my name is Robbins, and today I'll be presenting on sensitivity analysis for BUSN 604. Moving on to a brief overview of sensitivity analysis and this presentation. I'm going to give a brief introduction on what sensitivity analysis is, followed by both the quantitative and qualitative steps necessary for conducting a sensitivity analysis, as well as its impact on the capital budgeting process and analysis, followed by some concluding statements just to go over the overall impact of sensitivity analysis on the business world. Moving on to the introduction. So sensitivity analysis is better known as what-if analysis. This is a process that analyzes multiple variables and their impact on each other, in particular independent variables and their process of impacting a dependent variable within a business. This impacts business operations on both a global and local scale. So this could be conducted for internal reasons as well as external reasons. It's used for both financial reasons as well as qualitative methods, such as customer satisfaction. Moving on to the quantitative steps of sensitivity analysis. So quantitative data is any data that can be measurable from a financial perspective. This is precise numerical data that can be counted. These steps for conducting sensitivity analysis from a quantitative perspective are identifying the quantitative variables that we're going to analyze, testing those variables, seeing from both the highest, lowest, and even some of the medium factors of that data, and seeing the impact at each level, analyzing that impact, and then determining what factors it is we want to use and change for our business from a quantitative perspective. So it's not just the quantitative steps that are necessary for an effective sensitivity analysis, it's also qualitative steps. So qualitative data is any data that has an impact on the quality of the business that isn't as structured and finite as quantitative data. So once again, this might be data that has to do with customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. This is data that's usually determined through a set of surveys or just an analysis of long and short-term factors. So for instance, for customer satisfaction, how often are our customers returning to us? Well, you might be able to figure out how many customers have returned over time. It's not exactly finite why they may have returned. So that's why this would be qualitative instead of quantitative data, because there are multiple external factors that could impact some of these decisions, but we would still use a sensitivity analysis to try to determine the best course of action to figure out what data to use. The steps are exactly the same: identifying those factors, testing those factors, whether it be through surveys or just doing our best to identify some of the data we might have, analyzing that data, and then determining which course of action to take based on the findings that we have determined. Now, capital budgeting analysis, this is a tool that strictly focuses on capital and cash flows to determine the eventual potential of the decision we take. So this again has a similar process to quantitative and qualitative analysis, but the assessments are usually cash flow focused. So that is incoming and outgoing cash flows from both the short and long-term perspectives for historical data analysis. This is definitely a more financial related tool than quantitative and qualitative, mainly because quantitative can be anything to do with quantitative numerical data, whereas capital budgeting is specifically focused on the accounting aspects of sensitivity analysis. So moving on to our conclusion, sensitivity analysis is a tool that consists of both quantitative and qualitative steps necessary for a capital budgeting risk assessment. While sensitivity analysis is a very important tool that all businesses should utilize, it by no means is a 100% accurate tool. Anything can happen in the business world, both predictable and unpredictable factors. So everything should be taken with a grain of salt. That is the end of my presentation. Following slides are the sources that I used. Thank you.